Good day, everyone, and how is your day going? Today we're going to be learning computer coding using HTML. Computer coding using HTML. For our project on computer coding, we are going to be creating or coding a login form just like this. We're going to be creating a login form just like this. So for us to achieve our aim, we need three items, which are the folder, the picture, and your notepad, which we will use to write the code. So inside the folder, the picture and the notepad will be kept inside the folder. So to get started, let's create a folder. So to create a folder, I'm going to right click on an empty space and click on new. So I will move my mouse to where I have a folder, then I'll click on the folder. So I'm going to rename the folder as login form. So the first thing we need to move inside the folder is the picture. So to get the picture inside the folder, I will have to go ahead and locate my pictures folder. Then I will copy the folder, the picture. So I'm right clicking on the picture, then I'll click on copy. Then I will have to close this again and open the folder, then paste the picture inside the folder. So what I'm going to do to paste the picture, I will right click on the folder here and click on paste. Good. So I have the picture on the folder. So since we have our image inside the folder, so we need to open our notepad and save it inside the folder. Like I said earlier, the notepad, it's used to write codes. All the codes we'll be writing will be inside the notepad. So let's go ahead and open the notepad. Then we'll go to the stats. Then we'll have to search for notepad. Then I'll click on notepad over here. So to start coding, I have to save this notepad as an HTML file. I have to save this as an HTML file so that all the code that is being written on the notepad can be readable by the browser. Okay, so to save your notepad as an HTML file, we have to save it with .html. So how do we do that? So we'll go to File, Save As, and over here we need to locate the desktop. So I think I created my file on the desktop. So we need to locate the folder on the desktop. So I will click on desktop at this corner over here. Then I will look for the folder. This is the folder I created, login form. So I have to open the folder. So right now I'm inside the folder. Can you see? Login form. I'm inside the folder. So I'm going to save the notepad with .html inside the folder, just as I mentioned before we started. So to do that, let's say the name of my notepad file is login. So I have to save it as login. Then I will end it with .html without space. Okay, .html without space. Because if you didn't do this, your code will not work on the browser. So the logic behind this is that you have to put it might be any name over here, but without space. Okay, then you end it with .html. Okay, so after doing all of this, then I'll click on save. So if I should click on save, automatically, if you look at my folder over here, I have the login.html over here. Good. So at this moment, we are good to go to start coding. If you want to code, we have to open the login.html file here with a note with the notepad. Okay, so how do we do that? So I will right click on the login.html over here, then will move to open with, then I will click on Notepad. Okay, so in the case whereby you can't find Notepad on this list here, just click on choose another app. Okay, so when you click on choose another app, it's going to display this dialog box where you can search for your Notepad. Remember, we're going to open it with Notepad because we want to write code on it. Okay, so when I select the Notepad, then I will click on OK. So can you see that I have my Notepad here? So this is where I will start coding. Okay, good. So since we are coding on HTML have tags, opening and closing tags. A good coder must learn how to open and close his or her tags, because if you open a tag and you didn't close it, your code might not run on the browser. We're going to start with the less than sign, then HTML, then the greater than sign, just like that. So this is an opening tag. This is an opening tag. Okay, so the closing tag will now come like your less than sign, the slash, backslash, then the HTML. Can you see? So this is the HTML opening tag and HTML closing tag. So all the code we'll be writing will be inside the inside the HTML tag, that is in between the HTML tag. Okay, so then we have to move your mouse to the opening tag, then press the enter key, to get inside the HTML tags. So right here we are going to start with head and close the head, then we're going to close the head like this, head. So like I mentioned earlier, that we have the opening tag and the closing tag. So how do you differentiate between the opening and the closing tag? The closing tag always have a backslash before you type head. Okay, so anywhere you see the closing the backslash, it means it's a word closing tag. So there's a closing tag for head tag, and this is a closing tag for HTML tag. Okay, so inside your HTML we have two sections, which is the head section, and let's go ahead. I have to use my enter key to go to the next line, and I have my body section. Okay, so that's the body opening tag, and I'm typing the body closing tag. Okay, so there's a body tag which has open and close. Okay, so the difference between the head and the body is the head contains codes that will show at the top of the browser. It contains codes that will show at the header, at this part here. Is that clear? So while the body contains code that will display at the body of the browser. Good. So now let's get started. This section we will focus on codes that will be needed by the body tags. Okay, so now let's go inside the body. Remember, I told you when you want to go inside the tag, you have to click after the opening tag. Okay, so inside after the opening tag, that means I'm inside the body, so I have to press enter. Can you see? So all the codes will be between the opening tag and the closing tag. Okay, so the first thing we do here after we are inside the body is to bring in our header, and I told you about opening and closing tag. So this is the opening tag for header and the closing tag for header. Is that clear? So you remember that all these things are inside the body. Okay, so inside the header one, what we need to do is, let's say login form. Let's type in login form in between the opening and the closing tag of header one. Okay, so when we save these right here, and let's learn how to preview what we've written or what we code on the browser. So to preview all this on the browser, we'll have to open the folder we created. Okay, so right here, we'll right click on the login.html. So we'll go to open with. Remember, when we wanted to start coding, we opened it with the Notepad. You note that, okay? When you want to start coding, always open with Notepad. But this time around, we want to preview, okay? So we have to go to open with any of the browser. Like I have my Google Chrome. I have other browser over here, so I prefer Google Chrome. So I'm going to click on Chrome. Can you see that? So this is the login form. Can you see? This is the login form over here. It's displaying. If you notice that it's not displaying any of the tags, okay? So because the browser understands that it's on header, okay? So it's not displaying any of the HTML. Can you see that it's not displaying any of the HTML because the browser understands that we are coding with HTML. We are writing an HTML program, okay? Good. So that's all about that. So we've learned how to open our login.html, our file, with the Notepad, and also if you want to preview it, you have to open it with what? Your browser. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start coding. All right, the next thing we're going to do, so right here I'm going to put my login.html on Notepad over here and my browser over here, so that anyone I'm working on will refresh, and we'll be able to see it. So this is my browser and this is my Notepad, which I will have to write code on. Okay, at this junction, let's learn about attributes. Attributes are like properties of a tag, of an opening tag. Attributes are properties of an opening tag. So you add attributes if you want to add other functionalities to your code. Like for example, if I want to add a background color to this right here, I will add an attribute inside my opening tag, okay, the body opening tag. So for example, we have an attribute called BG color. BG color. So the BG color is an attribute that allow you to give your body tag, that is your browser, a background color. Okay, so the BG color equals to, so I have to assign a value to the attribute, you have to open your double quotes, okay? Can you see? So now I'm telling the browser that for my body I want a background color, which the name of the attribute is BG color. So the BG color will now be equals to, let's say, red. Can you see? So to assign a value to your attribute, you have to open your double quotation mark. Can you see that? Your double quotation. So inside your double quotation, you place your value of the attribute. So now, can you see on my body opening tag, we have the attribute called BG color. So, and the value is red. Okay, so when I save this file and save this, then I'll have to go to my browser. Then when I refresh it, can you see that the background color have changed to red? Okay, so if I want to go ahead and change the color, let's change the color to the background color to pink. I can say pink over here. I can type pink over here. Can you see? So when I save it and go to my browser to preview, I will refresh. Can you see that? So that's the work of an attribute. An attribute is just like properties of a tag, that add more functionalities to your tag. Okay, good. Now, the next thing we want to look at here is the center tag. The center tag. So I'm going to get rid of this now, for example, because I want all my code on the center of the page. So I'll have to, open the center tag, opening tag, and also you notice when I'm opening a tag, I'm always closing it immediately. So this is my center tag. So inside the center, I have to put other codes. And the reason I'm putting this center is because I want everything I want to code, all the items I want to bring in on the browser to be aligned on the center page. Okay, so right now I have to retype my header 1, then I'll close my header 1, then inside the header 1 here I will say login. I'll type in login form, login form. Right, so let's save this and preview. Oh, sorry, I have to save. Let's save it and preview. Can you see that my login form is right here in the center? So after the login form, after the H1, then I want to bring in an image. Okay, I want to bring in an image. So after my login form, so the image tag is img, and this image tag doesn't have it doesn't have what was it called? It doesn't have a closing tag. Or before we talk about image, let's look at BR. BR means line break. Okay, so and the BR is used to go to the next line. Okay, so after my login form, I want my browser to go to the next line before the other elements. Okay, so remember BR is for going to the next line. Okay, and it means line break. So I will go at the bottom of the BR. I'll go to the next line. So I'm going to the next line over here, and then I will bring my image. Good. So the BR doesn't have a closing tag, and the image too doesn't have a closing tag. Do you understand that? Good. There are some tags that doesn't have a closing tag, while there are some tags that have a closing tag. Okay. So like I mentioned about attributes, so we're going to use the attributes to make the image show on the browser. So on the image tag over here, so what the code is telling the browser right now is, okay, the login form, this is it over here. Then the BR to go to the next line over here. Then the image will appear after the login form. Okay, so I'm going to use my attribute to bring in the image. Okay, so the image, if I want to bring in the image, I will go inside the tag, opening tag, and type in src. src means source. Okay, so it's an attribute, and I said an attribute, if you want to assign the value to an attribute, you must put equals to and open your quotation just like this, double quotation just like this. Okay, so inside the double quotation you have to put your value. So I have my image tag, then the attribute is src, and src means source. It's asking that, okay, where is the image coming from? And remember when we got started, I told you that we needed 3 items, which is the folder, the image, and the notepad. Okay, so right here we are going to be using the image over here. Is that clear? So this source is asking for the name and the location of the image. Now, since the image is inside the folder, our folder over here, so we just need to put in this image img_avatar2.png. Okay, so img_avatar2.png. So that's what I'm going to put there. So I'm going to say img_avatar2.png. Okay, so when I save this over here, you see that when I refresh it, I have my image. Do you understand that? So I have my image. So this image source, it's used to bring in an image. This image tag, it's used to bring in an image. Okay, good. So can you see the BR now? This is the BR over here. Can you see space over here? Then I have the image, which is this. Then I have the header, which is H1 over here. Okay, notice that all these elements, they are wrapped in the center because they are inside the center tag. Okay, they are inside the center tag. Okay, so So inside the image, we have an attribute called width. So the width, remember the double quotation, so the width will be 200 px. Px in HTML means pixel, okay? So the px is just like the size in coding, is that clear? So it means our width, that is the horizontal part of it, we want the horizontal part of it to be 200 in size. Then also the height, also we want the height to be 210 pixels, px. Can you see that? So I want my image, that is this image, to resize itself. The horizontal part should be 200 in size, while the vertical side to be 210 in size. So this is the vertical side. Can you see my mouse movement? And this is the horizontal. So this horizontal here will resize itself to 200 in size, while the vertical part over here will resize itself to 210 in size. Okay, so when I save this and refresh, can you see that? So it's now, moderated in the form. Okay, as we all know that practice makes perfect, you can feel free to pause this video, code alongside with me. When you get any of the aspects, then you can resume playing the video. So what we just did was to add more functionalities using attributes to our image to size it, and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to introduce another attribute which is called style. So this style, it's called it's an inline styling that is used to give more style functionalities to your code. So we are still working on our image. Okay, so we've worked on the source attributes, we worked on the width attribute, we worked on the height attribute. So we are working on the style attribute now. So the reason I'm bringing out this style is because I want the image to have a rounded border. Okay, a rounded border. So if I want to apply that, I have to bring in the style attribute, then I'll equals to, remember the double quotation. So inside the style attribute over here, I will now type in border hyphen radius. So for the style, can you see I have to put colon, to give a value to the border radius. So the border radius will be 50%. Okay, so on my style attributes equals to, this is the value over here. Can you see border radius 50%? So this style attribute accepts other properties. Okay, accept a lot of properties. Okay, so when I save and preview, can you see that my image is now a rounded border? Okay, good. So remember, always code along with me. So if you can see the login form, the header login form, this is it over here. The BR, which is a blind break, this is it over here. Then all this produces this image over here and the properties with it. Now let's go ahead and create the login form, whereby asking the user for their username and password. So after my image over here, I have to put another PR, which is line break, and then I have to create my form tag, opening tag and closing tag. So inside my form, I want a label, the label opening tag, the label closing tag, I have my label opening tag and my label closing tag. So inside the label is just like an instruction, like where you can type, okay, like username, you can put in your username, okay. So the main aspect that is going to allow the user to type in, now it's an input tag. But before we do the input tag, let's save and preview this. Can you see where my username is right now? Okay, so I will have to go ahead after the label and then bring in the input tag. And the input tag doesn't have a closing tag, just like the image and the BR. Okay, so it's this input that will allow the user to type, to be able to type using your login form. Okay, so for it to be functional, we have to add some attribute inside the input tag. So there's an attribute which is called type, and the type means what type of information are you looking for, do you want the user to give to you. Now the kind of information I want for my input tag here is text. I want them to be able to type text, and your text, remember the attributes must start with a double quotation, and inside the double quotation, let's say text. So the reason why we have text here is because we want the user to be able to type in text, numbers, any sign, as the username. Okay, so let's save this and preview. Can you see now that I have this is the input tag over here? Can you see why this is the label? This is it over here. Why the input tag it's over here? Okay, so if we want the username to be at the top, that means, and the label to be at the bottom, so we have to add the BR over here. We have to have add the BR over here, you understand? So that after the computer will read it in such a way that after displaying the username, it will let it go down and display the input type. But for this case, we don't want to go to the next line. We want the username to be side by side with the input type. Okay, good. Now let's bring in another label, which is password. Okay, so in the label, type password. So after the password, we want an input tag, which we want the type of the attribute, just like we did in the text here. So here, instead of text, because we want the password, because when users are typing on your password, you wouldn't want them to see what they are typing. Okay, so for the input type on password, we'll type password. So anything the user type on this input type will be on hash code. Okay, so let's save this, then refresh. Okay, can you see that I have the username? So when I type in, can you see that you can see what I'm typing, the dummy text? So but when I click on the password, if I'm typing in dummy text, can you see it's showing me the hash code? So I can't even see what I'm typing. Okay, so that is the normal format for a password, to make your login form secured. Okay, so I really don't want them side by side. I want the password to be below the username. So what do you think we can do here? Yes, BR. So we'll go after the input tag. After this, so we'll go there and type in our BR. Okay, so I have to type the BR again because I wanted to go to the next line twice. I want to go to the next line twice. That means I want and two empty space before, 2 lines rather. I want 2 lines before the password. Okay, so when I save this and also refresh, can you see that? So I have the login form, the image, the username, password. Okay, so the last one here, I want to put here, I'm still inside the form tag. Can you see that? I'm inside the form tag over here. So inside the form tag, I want to go to the next line twice also. So I'm going to use the BR 2 times. Then after the BR, I want the input, my input tag. So inside the input tag, there's an attribute type which is called submit. Okay, so I'll now put submit over here. So submit will appear in the form of button. Okay, the value will be, so that value means login, like login now. Okay, so when I save this and preview, can you see I have the button login now, I have the username and password and login now. Okay, so now let me recap everything I've just done over here. So you remember there's the body, the first thing, can you do the closing, the body opening tag, and there's the body closing tag. So all of the other code is inside the body, between the body opening tag and the body closing tag. Good. Then the next thing was the center. Can you see? So this center makes all other code to be aligned in what? In the center. Good. So this is the H1 for the login form, the BR for the next next line. Now here is the image that's brought out this image over here. Then we have the BR also, the next line. Okay, let me make this BR. Okay, so I have the next line over here. Can you see the space? Just to give a space at the bottom of each tag. Okay, so before I can start using my input tag, I need to open my form, which I've just done. Okay, so in between the form over here, can you see I have these tags? Okay, so in between the forms I have these tags. So the first one here is the label, which is this username, and the input type, the input tag, which is D for this, and just the same way as the password, the input type password, the BRs, which next line, and the input type, which is what? Login. So right now, in order to add more functionalities to the code, I will need to add the style attribute in the input type. Okay, in the input tag I have to add style attributes in the input tag. Okay, for this input tag I have to add the style attribute. So my style attribute will be the width as 230 pixel, and height as 50 pixel. Okay, so the same thing I have to do in the other input tag. So when I save this, you see that I have a big box now. You can see and type in. Okay, so I need to do that on all the input tag over here. So right for the input type, this submit, this is the button for the button. So I have to do the same thing. So I have copied from this, I have to paste into, so there's all, this is style attributes and these are the value. Okay, so if I should save this, and let's save this and refresh. So can you see I have the button, and so just feel free, get used to this code, and practice, get used to the tags and the attributes. So in our next class we will move further than this. Have a great day.